The 28th of May, 1904, Volume 6. Mortification knocks everything down and immolates everything to God. Continuing in my usual state, with the highest bitterness, because of the continuous privations of my adorable Jesus, he made himself seen for just a little, telling me, "My daughter, the first bomb, which must be primed in the interior of the soul, is mortification. When this bomb is thrown into the soul, it knocks everything down and immolates everything to God. In fact, in the soul, it is as though there are many palaces, but all of vices, such as pride, disobedience, along with many other vices. And the bomb of mortification, knocking everything down, rebuilds as many other palaces of virtues, immolating them and sacrificing them all to the glory of God." Having said this, he disappeared. A little later, the devil came, who just wanted to molest me, and I, without becoming fearful, said to him, "Why do you want to molest me? If you want to show how brave you are, take a rod and beat me up to the point of leaving me not even one drop of blood. Provided, however, that each drop of blood I shed be one more proof of love, of reparation, and of glory, which I intend to give to my God." And he, "I don't have a rod with me to be able to beat you, and if I go fetch it, you will not wait for me." And I, "Go ahead, I'll be waiting for you here." So he went off, and I remained with the firm intention of waiting for him. But to my surprise, I saw that as he met with another demon, the two were saying, "It is useless for us to go back. Why should we beat her, if this must serve to harm us and as a loss for us? It is good to make suffer one who does not want to suffer, because he would offend God. But if one wants to suffer, we would do harm to ourselves with our own hands." So he did not come back, and I was left mortified. End of the reading. The 28th of May, 1918, Volume 12. The jealousy of the love of Jesus for Louisa is so great that he takes everything away from her. Finding myself in my usual state, I was saying to my beloved Jesus, "Jesus, love me. I have more right than others to be loved, because I do not love anyone but you, nor does anyone love me. And if someone does seem to love me, it is for the good that they get, not for myself. Therefore, between my love and yours, there is no other love." And sweet Jesus told me, "My daughter, this is nothing else but my greatest love. And it is such that the jealousy of my love for you takes all things away from you. My jealousy is such that I remain on guard, so that not even a shadow of love of creature may breathe upon you. At the most, I tolerate that someone love you in me, but not outside of me. Otherwise, I would make him flee. This also means that neither have you entered any heart, nor has anyone entered yours." Then around night time, Jesus returned with the Queen Mama, calling me by name, and as if they wanted me to pay attention. How beautiful it was to see Mama and Jesus speaking to each other. The celestial Mama was saying, "My son, what are you doing? What you want to do is too much. I have my rights as mother, and I grieve that my children have to suffer so much. You want to open heaven to scourges and to destroy the creatures and the food which will serve to feed them. You want to inundate them with infectious diseases. What shall they do? You say that you love this daughter of mine. How much will she suffer if you do this? Not to embitter her, don't do it." And she pulled him toward me. But Jesus, determined, answered, "I cannot. I remove many evils because of her, but not everything. My Mama, let the whirl of evils pass so that they may surrender." Then they said many other things between them which I could not fully understand. I remained terrified, but I hope that Jesus will placate himself. End of the reading. The 28th of May, 1920, Volume 12. The acts done in the divine will enter into the sphere of eternity and run always ahead of all human acts. I was offering myself in the holy sacrifice of the Mass together with Jesus, so that I too might receive his same consecration. And he, moving in my interior, told me, "My daughter, enter into my will, so that you may find yourself in all of the hosts, not only of the present, but also of the future. In this way you will receive, together with me, as many consecrations as I receive. In each host I place one life of mine, and I want another one in exchange. But how many do not give it to me? Others receive me, I give myself to them, but they do not give themselves to me, and my love remains suffering, hampered, suffocated, unrequited. Therefore come into my will to receive all the consecrations which I receive, and I will find your life in exchange in each host, not only for as long as you remain on earth, but also when you are in heaven. In fact, since you have been consecrated in advance while being in my will on earth, just as I will receive consecrations until the end, you too will receive them, and I will find the exchange of your life unto the last day." Then he added, "The acts done in my will are those which always excel over all and have supremacy over all. Since they are done in my will, they enter into the sphere of eternity, and taking the first places, they leave all human acts behind, running always ahead. Nor can whether they are performed before or after have any influence, whether in one era or in another, or whether they are small or great. It is enough that they be performed in my will for them to be always among the first ones and to run ahead of all the human acts. They are similar to the oil mixed together with other edibles, maybe even things of greater value, even gold or silver, or foods of great substance. They all remain underneath while the oil excels on top of them. It never lowers itself to be under, even in the minimal quantity, with its little mirror of light. It seems to be saying, I am here to excel over all. I do not band together with other things, nor do I blend with them. In the same way, the acts done in my volition, because they are performed in my will, become light, but a light which is bound to and identified with the eternal light. They do not mix with the human acts. Rather, they have the virtue of turning human acts into divine. Therefore, they leave everything behind, while they are the first among all. End of the reading. The 28th of May, 1929, Volume 26. Every time Jesus has spoken about his will, the heavens have lowered themselves. The feast of all heaven, the divine will, crown of creation and redemption. Sorrow of Jesus because the divine fiat is not known. My little intelligence does nothing but keep crossing the unending sea of divine language and puts out its secrets. And with arcane words, it manifests itself to my little soul. And many times my sweet Jesus comes out from within those waves of light. He runs, he embraces me, and placing his hand upon his heart in order to sustain it, so great is the ardour of his love that he feels, he speaks about his most holy volition. So while I was in this state, my beloved Jesus told me, "Daughter of my will, if you knew what love I feel when I decide to speak to you about my divine fiat. Every time I have spoken to you about it, the heavens have lowered themselves. So great was the esteem and the veneration they felt. and paying homage to what I would be about to say and lowering themselves, they would overflow from the celestial fatherland and would all come to attention to listen to me. And while I would speak, they would feel within themselves new creations of divine lies, new joys, new beauties. In fact, when it comes to speaking to you about more knowledges on my divine fiat, the whole of heaven feels the power of it, and they compete among themselves to listen and to receive the new effects of those knowledges. So it has been the feast of all heaven. Every time I have spoken to you about my most holy will, because it has felt its happiness being doubled, and only heaven could contain all the admirable effects, the pure joys, of even just one knowledge of my fiat. Only in this way could I speak to you about it, with the heavens lowered, so as to receive their reverent acts and homages due to my divine will. The love and the desire I feel to make it known is so great that if it were necessary, I would incarnate myself again. Its long story required time in order to narrate it to you and make you comprehend it. I can say I have done more than in creation and redemption, because my will encloses both one and the other. It is origin and means of them, and it will be end and crown of creation and redemption in such a way that without my will, unknown and not reigning and dominating upon earth, our works would be works without crown and incomplete. And so, this is the reason for so much interest in making it known. Our very works, done with so much love and magnificence, are in the nightmare of an unutterable moan and almost of a profound humiliation, because the life, the essential substance that they hide, is not yet known. The veils, the exterior of creation and redemption are known, but the life that they hide is ignored. How can they give the life they hide and the goods they possess? Therefore, our works long for, demand their just rights, that my divine will be known. Ah, yes, it alone will be the glory, the everlasting crown, and the fulfillment of our works. Now you must know that I am here hidden within you, with sorrow in my heart, just as I was in my last years, when my humanity lived down here on earth, and I, Word of the Father, was hidden within it. After so many sacrifices, after so much speaking of mine, and so many examples given, I looked at the earth, I looked at the peoples, and also those who surrounded me, without the effects of my coming upon earth. The fruits, the goods of my coming upon earth were so scarce that my heart was tortured in feeling the so many goods that I wanted to give them being rejected from me, and my sorrow increased in seeing that, having fulfilled within my humanity what I was to do in order to redeem them, I was about to depart from heaven. How painful it is, wanting to do good, even at the cost of one's life, and finding no one to whom to give these goods. Now, so I am within you. I look at my sacrifices and yours. I look at the order I have kept, at the many lessons I have given you, enough to make my divine will known in order to form its kingdom. And if I do not stop speaking, it is because its story is eternal. And what is eternal has its eternal speaking that never ends. And the speaking about my fiat will be eternal in heaven. I look at those who surround you and who know what regards my will without true interest in making known a good so great. I look at your humanity itself that serves me as cathedra from which I impart my lessons, and you yourself cannot deny that you feel me within yourself sensibly, moving, speaking, suffering, and that I am really inside you to form my kingdom and make it known. And while I look at you, I see that your humanity also will not remain on earth for much longer, and my heart feels the grips of the sorrow that the great good that my divine will wants to do is not even known. Its knowledges are as though buried, and while they want to give life, happiness, light, they remain as though imprisoned between me and you, and in the papers that with so much tenderness of love I have made you write. Therefore, my daughter, compassionate my sorrow, adore my dispositions in keeping you on earth still. I know that this is very hard for you, and I compassionate you. And while we compassionate each other, let us do what is up to us in order to make my divine will known. After this, I was doing my usual acts in the divine volition, and my sweet Jesus added, my daughter, my fiat has its prime act in our divinity, its prime act in the creation and redemption and in all things, and therefore it has its just right to dominate everything and to envelop all, and to be the primary wheel that in moving moves everything around itself and all turn around it. So one who takes my will as life takes everything, and as the primary wheel moves, all things give themselves to the soul, so much so that she has no need to ask. As they turn around my will, they all give themselves to her. Therefore, the most necessary thing is to take my divine will. And if she has done this, she has done everything and has taken everything. Everything is hers. It happens as to an engine. If the primary wheel in the centre of it moves, all the secondary wheels rotate as well. But if the primary wheel does not move, all remain motionless, and there is no power nor artisan who would have the virtue of moving the secondary wheels. But if the first one moves, the others rotate of their own and do their office. Therefore, the attention and the art must be on the primary wheel. Everything else comes of its own. Such is my will. One who possesses it has no need of anything. End of the reading. The 28th of May, 1933, volume 32. Precipice, doors, and living hell of the human volition. Doors, stairs, and living paradise of the divine will. Necessity of its knowledges, royalty that one acquires. The daughter of the great king. My poor mind many times struggles between the infinite beauty, power, value, and innumerable prerogatives of the eternal volition, and the precipices, ugliness, and evils of the human volition. My God, what contrast, that if all would be able to see it, they would give their lives rather than do their own will. While I fell trembling for all the grave evils in which my will could make me fall, my beloved Jesus surprisingly told me, my blessed daughter, courage. It is necessary that you know where one can reach by holding my divine will as life, and into what abysses one falls who lets himself be dominated by his own volition. Rather, every evil that I make known to you about it is a door that I can make you close to the human will, and a guard that I give you, so that if you would want to enter again and descend into the precipice of the human volition, the guard repels you and keeps the door closed to you. And every time I arrive at making you know other evils of the human volition, they are nothing other than defence and guards that I add, so that they would not let you descend into the depth of its abyss. Therefore, you must know that every evil of the human will is nothing other than so many distinct doors that she possesses. In order to descend into the kingdom of evils, of vices, of blood-curdling terrors of the living hell, even to rendering herself nauseating, unbearable to God and to herself. And I, by making its evils known, I do nothing other than wall up the doors and place my seal and say, this door cannot open any more. Now, as the human will has its doors, its stairs, in order to descend into the abyss of evils, not in order to ascend, so my divine will has its doors, its stairs, in order to ascend to its heavens, to its immense goods, and it forms the living paradise of the one who possesses it. And every knowledge that regards it is one more door that is opened. It is a stair that is formed. It is a way that opens before you that you must cross in order to possess with deeds what you have known. See, therefore, the great good of the so many knowledges that I have manifested to you. They are so many doors that make the entrance into its kingdom easy for you. And at every door I have placed an angel as guardian, so that he would give you a hand and conduct you safely into the regions of the divine will. Every knowledge is an invitation and a divine strength that it seeds to you and makes you feel the extreme need, the absolute necessity of living of divine will. As it makes itself known, so it extends its arms to you in order to take you and conduct you in its arms into that same knowledge that it has manifested to you. It adapts it to your capacity. It molds your soul so that it enters into you as vital humour, as blood, as air, and it produces in you the life, the goods that its knowledge possesses. And acting as conductor, more than mother, it remains on guard in order to see when its daughter has absorbed the last drop of the good that it has made known to her, in order to again open its bosom to her, and pouring itself into its daughter and making her know other values, other effects that the life of my volition contains, then it repeats its labour, because it wants to see in her the value of its life, the effects, the substance of its goods. Now, the knowledges about my divine will instruct the human volition, and she acquires science and reason, that it is not only justice to let it reign and dominate as primary life in her soul, but it is the greatest good, honour, and great glory that she can receive, that this holy volition, by dominating, arrives at giving her the state of divine royalty, because she feels herself daughter of the great king. The royalty is also, therefore, her property. When the creature has arrived at comprehending all this by way of knowledges and lessons that my divine volition has made to her, everything is done. My will has conquered the human volition, and the human volition has conquered the divine will. The knowledges about it are so very necessary, because they serve to dry up the bad humours and substitute them with holy humours. They are a sun that darts the human volition, and they communicate its life, its sanctity, and the ardent desire to possess the good that one knows. Therefore, be attentive to listen to its lessons and correspond to such a good. End of the reading. The 28th of May, 1937, Volume 34. The Queen, bearer of Jesus, the great gift that was consigned to her, task that she had from the Supreme Being. Living in the divine volition continues. So much is his love that he hides me in its light, so that nothing but his most holy will is seen, felt, touched. Rather, this morning, my celestial mother made me a sweet and dear surprise. Having received Holy Communion, she made seen in my interior that she was as harmonized with baby Jesus. She held him so clasped to her maternal heart, covered with her arms, that in order to see him and delight him with my little love, I had to abandon myself in her arms, in order that I too was harmonized with them. so that I could love as Jesus and the Queen Mama loved. Oh, how content they were that I wanted to live together with them. Now, while I was clasped with them, the Sovereign Queen, all goodness and tenderness, told me, "My beloved daughter, you must know that I am the bearer of Jesus. This was a gift that the Supreme Being entrusted to me. And when he was certain that I had grace, love, power, and the divine will itself in order to keep him guarded, defended, and loved, then he consigned the gift to me, that is the eternal Word, who incarnated himself in my womb, telling me, 'Our daughter, we make you the great gift of the life of the Sun God, such that you are mistress of him. And you give him to whomever you want. However, know him, keep him defended, never leave him alone with whomever you give him to, in order to fill in if they do not love him, in order to make reparation to him if they offend him. You will act in a way that nothing is lacking to the decency, to the sanctity, to the purity that befits him. Be attentive. He is the greatest gift that we make you. And we give you the power of bilocating him however many times you want, so that one who wants him can receive this great gift and possess him. This son is mine. He is my gift. And as mine, I know his loving secrets, his anxieties, his yearnings, but so much so that he arrives at crying. And with repeated sobs, he tells me, "My mama, give me souls. I want souls." I want what he wants. I can say that I yearn and cry together because I want that everyone possess my son. But I must place his life, the great gift that God entrusted to me, in safety. This is why, if he descends into heart sacramentally, I descend together in order to guarantee my gift. I cannot leave him alone. My poor son, if he did not have his mama who descends together, some do not tell him, "One, I love you," from the heart, and I must love him. Some receive him distracted, without thinking about the great gift that they receive, and I pour myself over him in order to not let him feel their distractions and coldnesses. Some arrive at making him cry for me, and I must quiet his tears and make sweet reproaches to the creature, so that they would not make him cry for me. How many moving scenes occur in the hearts who receive him sacramentally. There are souls who never content themselves with loving him enough, and I give them my love and also his in order to make them love. These are scenes of heaven, and the angels themselves remain enraptured by it, and we ourselves reinvigorated from the sufferings that the other creatures had forgiven us. But who can tell you everything? I am the bearer of Jesus, nor does he want to go anywhere without me. So much so that when the priest is about to pronounce the words of the consecration over the Holy Host, I make wings with my maternal hands, so that he descends by means of my hands in order to consecrate himself, such that if unworthy hands touch him, I make him feel mine, that defends him and cover him with my love. But this is not enough. I am always on the lookout to see if they want my son, so much so that if some sinner repents of his grave sins and the light of grace dawns in his heart, I immediately bring Jesus to him as confirmation of the pardon, and I think of everything that is needed in order to make him remain in that converted heart. I am the bearer of Jesus, and I am that because I possess in myself the kingdom of his divine will. It reveals to me who wants him, and I run, I fly in order to bring him, however, without ever leaving him. And not only am I bearer, but spectator and listener of what he does and says to souls. Do you believe that I was not present to listen to the so many lessons that my dear son made you on his divine will? I was present. I listened word by word to what he told you, And in every word I thanked my Son, and I felt doubly glorified because he spoke about the kingdom that I already possessed, that has been all my fortune and the cause of the great gift of my Son. And in seeing him speak, I saw the fortune of my children grafted with mine. Oh, how I rejoiced! All the lessons he's given me, and also more, are already written in my heart, and in seeing them repeated to you, I enjoy one more paradise in every lesson. And however many times you were not attentive and forgot, I asked pardon for you, and I prayed him that he would repeat his lessons. And he, in order to content me, because he does not know how to deny anything to his mamma, repeated his beautiful lessons to you. My daughter, I am always with Jesus. However, at times I hide in him, and it seems that he does everything as if he were without me. Instead, I am within. I concur there together, and I am aware of what he does. Other times he hides in his mamma, and he makes me act by myself, but he's always concurrent together with me. Other times we both unveil ourselves together, and the souls see the mother and son who love them so much, according to the circumstances and the good they ask for. And many times it is the love that we cannot contain that makes us give in excesses toward them. But be certain that if my Son is there, I am. And if I am, my Son is. It is a task that was given to me by the Supreme Being that I cannot, nor do I want to, get out of. More so because these are the joys of my maternity, the fruits of my sorrows, the glory of the kingdom that I possess, the will and the accomplishment of the sacrosanct Trinity. End of the reading. There are no more readings today.